another replay review. I'm Julian, I'm getting named Paper Cut. I like watching people play the game and giving my thoughts. Here we have AHL, Diamond 3 player. He's up there. He's playing a mirror matchup on Dehli, and I thought watching this would be interesting because mirror matchups are a little unique in how you have to approach it. So let's get into it. As he starts setting up, I'll kind of explain the theory behind a mirror matchup. So when most times you play, you have two different civs, right? Each civ has their own bonuses. And so how those strengths and weaknesses play off each other give the game options, give you ways if you can fall behind to catch back up, things like that. And also, you're each are playing different styles, so you're each often trying to accomplish different goals or using different units to get to that and respond to each other on that. A mirror matchup's unique, and why some people consider mirror matchups, a little stale, is that you're both trying to do the same thing. So if one of you makes a mistake, it's really hard to catch back up because you're both literally doing the same thing. So if you're Dehli and you're both trying to capture sacred sites, if you win the first fight and take a sacred site, then you're probably going to win the second fight because you have more units and take the next sacred site, and then snowballing. So these sort of mirror matchups often come down to the first couple conflicts. Can you get a couple villager picks? Can you win the first fight? Can you take the best position? And then it snowballs from there. And so if you watch high-level players play mirror matchups, they often go pretty quick because if they lose out early on, they know it's really, really hard to come back. Same thing with, I watched a Demu play a Rust mirror where he quit almost immediately because he didn't get the same amount of bounty, and he would have fallen, and that would have sent his upgrade times off, and it would have been really hard to catch back up. So if you're in a Dehli mirror matchup specifically, Tower Victory is the way you have to go. Because if you go Dome of the Faith and your opponent goes Tower Victory, your units will immediately be worse than theirs. So always, always, always make sure you go Tower Victory in a Dehli mirror matchup. So I love that pick. Gets enough of the first scholar. For the Tower Victory build, if you don't know, for Tower Victory build, you keep 3 on gold until you have 130, and then you build a second scholar, and you basically play with those 2 scholars until you take a sacred site. So you're going to use those 2 scholars, you're going to put them in your 2 production buildings, you're going to get an army, and once you take sacred sites, then with the gold from the sacred sites, you make more scholars or you age up, whatever you want to do. So the key on this mirror matchup is that you have to know what your opponent drops first, because if you can respond correctly to what they do, you'll be more likely to win that first fight and start the snowball. So you really need to make sure they just aged up. You know they're going to put down the first production building in a second. I'd be sitting here and just hawking it. You put down a blacksmith. So this is interesting. In a Dehli mirror matchup, do you put down a blacksmith first or not? Pros. If you put down a blacksmith first, you're going to get your upgrades first, which then means that when you take a fight and you have the upgrades and your opponent does not, you are more likely to win, even if your army is worse. But there is kind of a timing here where if your opponent puts out a few units first, they could either pressure you before you have units out yourself. They might be able to put a wall around one of the sacred sites and keep it permanently. So you're kind of playing a risk here. I don't mind it, but you need to make sure you see what your opponent's doing, especially because if your opponent puts down a blacksmith, then you know you're in the clear. Grabbing these sheep are nice, but really circle back. What's your opponent doing? He's gonna walk. You're gonna put down two blacksmith openings. So this is in a Dehli game. This is kind of greedy. I tend to go units first because I'm a little aggro. Like, I would like getting a Ghazi out first just to kind of poke at his food and also see what he has. So you get the sheep back. You remembered all your upgrades. Go to pop a scholar out and put it in the stable to get a couple Ghazis out first. Then you scout back down. Now here's the key. What did your opponent go? They went archery range. Nice. So that means your Ghazis will be their archers. You also went archery range, which is good. You're going to start pumping archers here. Infantry is important because remember, as with the Dehli, you can build walls with your infantry. So if he also goes archer, then there's a Ghazi. So you both went archer, Ghazi. And he's going to put down a barracks. So he's going to go one of each unit type. You probably need to match that. If you can way overmass archers, then you can beat his archer spearman comp by running your Gazis around, but it requires a lot more micro. So if you're really good at micro, then yeah, you can keep Horse Archer. But also when 1/1/1 could help. Go poke in there. He has his Gazi to defend. Alright, so now we're just posturing. You technically have the map control here. Technically, you are ahead. He's sitting here. You're in the map control. This would be a time for you to use, just take these 2 Gazis in your scout and just keep rotating around his base, poking at stuff. You don't need to get a kill, but you need to keep him in his base. Keep rotating around, make him follow you. And while you're doing that, you can build up like an archer mass here with some more Gazis while he's chasing you around. And you're getting your own barracks. Okay. Right now, your resource split is good too. I like the resource split. Okay, you need to start getting your scholars out. And this is what's in. This is kind of a small decision here that could define the success of a mirror matchup. If you pop your scholars out early to take sacred sites, but he keeps his scholars in, he could build up a larger army than you, and then push you off the sacred sites with his larger army. Now, partly that though is, does he have the economy to do that? You're about to run out of food here, and you have more wood, so you should start macroing more towards food here, which you are. You still have plenty of sheep, so you should be fine. There we go. Love this rotation. Read my mind here. Get out. Got a meeting with your units. Nice. Ooh, almost got that Gazi. So you're going to keep yours. I don't mind it. Because really, whoever wins this first fight sets himself up to win the game. So you keeping your scholars in to pump a few more units, I'm very much here for. Oh, he picked the wrong one. Okay, here's our first little fight here. Good micro of the Gazis. Ooh, it's close, right? You guys are and you won it out. Now, you won it out because I wish I'd counted before the fight started, but I think you had more units. So let's watch as this snowballs from here. Let's see if you're able to put the pressure on. Because hypothetically, you should you have a little skirmish happening up here. He tried to cut off your units, which is smart. Tip: if you are behind or losing a fight and you know your opponent's reinforcing, getting a small force in the reinforcement direction is really helpful. That's what he did. You're going to beat him, I think, here, but he's going to slow you down. In fact, he's going to make you turn back around. He's pumping units again, so you need to keep your production as well. Beautiful, and you're able to micro. So this is why Dehli's kind of a hard civ to play. You have to be able to keep the pressure up while doing all this sacred site stuff on the side. So while he fought, he went over, sent one spear, built this to protect the sacred site. He took one. He's going to take another sacred site with one scholar. He'll now have a gold income. He can start making more scholars. And he's kept one scholar in archer. So I actually also agree with this. If he had to pick one of these production buildings to produce the quickest, it would be archers. Archer mass with this Tower of Victory 20% buff is pretty big. Protects his archer mass, backs up, because you're ahead and as long as you keep producing, you'll be ahead in military. So size up this sacred site, this sacred site. His opponent can't leave his base yet because he's afraid of being outmassed, so he's trying to build up his own mass. And this is another beautiful thing, right? Like, if this was, Delhi versus China, you would still feel like you had to push as Delhi because China's going to produce more villagers than you. So even while you might have won the first fight, you're worried about China's growing eco lead, your ability to keep that up. But as Delhi, you know that you are now officially ahead. He has the same amount of villagers as you. He can't outproduce units as long as you're producing units too. With the gold generation, you're now going to be ahead on scholars. You're going to be able to hit castle first, so you've set yourself up for this, like, while you're not crazy ahead, you are enough that you're continuously getting ahead, as long as you don't throw. As long as you don't do something that loses you. Love this little raid attempt over here. Boom, nice find. Delhi is super food hungry because you can produce units faster. Delhi is one of those civs. Delhi, French, who else could you say? Delhi, French, Rus to an extent, China are all civs that need to go on the map and get food. Civs like Malians, English, HRE can sit in their base, either make farms or cows for Malians, but civs have to go on the map. Just if you need a place to raid, where is the food? So you go to the berries, boom, push them off berries. Abbott's the same way. Abbott usually has to go on the map because they're producing more villagers. Chase him off. I back up this point because he's going to try to hit you. Nice. Oh, well, you see this army. This is another fun thing. If you see all of his armies in one spot like this, that lets you know I have a little bit more free reign. You should back around the backside here. You already know he's on these berries, so just hit these berries down here, knowing that his main force is right here. You just need to keep building up a mass. You have 2 other sacred sites. Nice. You can even build a couple more, unless you really want to macro up to castle. You could build more scholars. But actually, at this moment would not be a bad time to pull like 6 of your villagers off. Go to this, drop a tower, and start gathering these berries. With the idea being that you want to take the resources while you have map control. The best time to get on the map is when you're the one running around the map, as well as you have the advantage to go castle. You're getting more gold than him. You can reach castle first. Once you get castle, you'll have gold units, and then you can just dominate the game. See what you do. He's wasting time busting walls down. This is honestly a waste of time. You come in and attack, and this is an interesting attack because you know his whole force is right here. He has 6 Ghazis, 4 spears, 17 archers. You have 21 archers, 7 spears, and 2 Ghazis. You didn't need to take this fight. He had decapped it. He was wasting time destroying walls. Unless you were sure he had a bigger mass, this was kind of a waste of a fight. Love this, just as I suggested. Moved out, take deer. Great. Yeah, with 2 sacred sites, you didn't really need to take the fight. I love how you waited and caught his villagers. No, his villagers right here. His villagers right here. Go back. Oh, they ran through. So you put them on patrol, which is nice, but they just ran through the stealth forest and missed it. And you're fighting this fight over here, so you're not paying attention. So this is the type of fight that lets your opponent back in the game. You will have the bigger mass. You attacked him with a smaller mass into his main force and lost the exchange. Now, he does a dumb thing and walks his archers out and loses these. But, uh-oh. Once again, mirror matchup, but small things like that. As long as you had just kept your main mass together, you would have always beaten him. And then he came back here. Took advantage of the first bad fight you took. Is now pushing you. Things might get spicy here. Okay, send some spears to slow him down. Turn your archers. If you can just get rid of these spears, then you're fine. Yeah, this one you needed to raid with these Ghazis back on these berries. He had to move back to them. You went and took these berries, nice. If possible, you might want to get a tower on those resources because he might try to. He's gonna start poking villagers, which is bad because when you guys are on even villagers, oh, it's all over the map now. The wolf nature has decided to attack you. Good, you found his villagers. These are the small moments that really matter. If you pop over here, have both the Ghazis attack the same Ghazi raiders, and you'll win that. But that's like such a small micro thing with you have so much going on. Like they move the villagers up to this wood line, but you're gonna not be able to produce units for a second. Make or break moment right here. He stops reinforcing. Man, he should have beat you on that. But you got enough spears back in to stop him, and he didn't know when to stop. So he had an advantage, and then what he really needed to do was know that once he had you here, he just needed to keep reinforcing spears, and then if he should have sent his Ghazis out and just started going to each one of your food sources to slow you down, because he should have known at this point you had to be on other food sources. What are you looking at me for? My wife's judging me right now for my passion of a game. That sucks. So he's going to push an advantage, start decapping. You need a rush castle at this point. You're on all these food sources. You don't have any gold. I don't know about taking this fight. He has more units here. Yeah. And once again, that just. You did not take a better trade there. You're losing units. Let's see. You have 49, 37. He has 43, 34. Did you kill a bunch of his villagers? Well, you have slightly more military, but since they're split up, he's taking these fights better. So let's actually look at the caster mode here. He has more destroyed value, so he's done more damage to your army than you've done to his. And you killed 2 of his villagers, so he just forgot to make villagers at one point. So you're lucky. He should be at 48 vills. He should be like right next to you. And with these mirror matchups, being 5 villagers down really matters. Back to your bill. Decaps. He's not gonna cap it himself. Finally catches your Gazis. But you know all his food's right here. But if you're in a place to attack, this is like his lifeline right here. You remass up. You realize it's bigger than you. Good, back up. Don't take a fight unless you know you can win the fight. If you can't win a fight, back up unless it's like, I have to take this fight just to buy myself time sort of thing. 44, 41. 48, 52. So you're slowly gaining the lead because he keeps forgetting to make villagers, I think. And you've killed a couple more villagers. Good turn with the spearman. Archer should tear through his. He has the Ghazi mass. Not enough Ghazis though, not enough Ghazis. And run away. Oh, yes. Chef's kiss. You've done so much eco damage to him, but let's look at our micro here. Our macro, I mean. Look, we've missed macro a little bit. You have so much food. Not enough wood to produce the units with the food you have. And you can't age up because of gold. It is okay. You have a bunch of scholars though, but all these scholars are useless because they're not researching anything. You run out of research. So you probably make too many scholars unless you pop them out and actually fight with them. If you had these scholars out on the field, that'd be nice. So the thought process is like, how do I get to castle at the safest but fastest way possible? In this case, you had this moment, this timing in here where you had 2 sacred sites and he had to remass up. At that point, while he's catching up and you keep raiding a little bit to slow him down, it would have been okay to put like 4 villagers on gold, get the gold, or drop to market and sold a little bit of extra food to get to castle, hold while he does his push, like bring all your units back, hold because he's going to push me, hit castle, get some gold units out, get a bunch of men-at-arms out, and then walk through. But now you're kind of hoping that your all these resources you're floating will come back to bite you. Because you don't have any use to spend gold on, you need wood. Oh, nice. This archer mass is beautiful. And he has to back up because he didn't produce enough archers. And this is where your eco advantage is going to take over. Yeah, having more than 10 villagers, he can't fight that. You could just stay feudal now. And just keep building this archer mass and ram them. Mirror matchups, man, it's all about who can pick off a couple more villagers, who can maintain their mass and keep massing up. Like, who makes the first mistake and then who can maintain their advantage. Like, which is like most games. It's like most games, but it's much more like there's a magnifying glass on that in mirror matchups. Good way to send a scholar out. At this point, let's see if you do the Dehli trick. Yes. Okay, it's a big thing. When he ages up, he pops all his scholars out. He's gonna send a scholar to each. Hopefully, you send a scholar to each relic. And you nab all the relics in one go. I would build one more mosque while you're waiting for this to happen. Gives production up. Good as Dehli, knowing you have to upgrade some units. You want 2 to 3 of each production building that you're gonna make units out of. That you actually want units from. Age up. He is also about to age up. Yeah, you're in a great spot. You just need to upgrade your archers. I don't even think upgrading your spearmen's that big of a deal. Upgrade your archers and then mass men-at-arms. Get a couple of knights and send them out. Knights with Ghazis and spearmen, your knights might struggle. But men-at-arms to do some work. Just wait till your archers are upgraded. Don't need to rush this. Yeah. It's fine, but like if you just wait for your archers to upgrade, you would decimate them. Send your knights out to just go raid. You know he's on food sources right now. Just send your knights out around the map. He's on stone down here. Oh, you did get a knight down here. Nice. But yeah, you should just try to create ping panic around the map. Just try to get knights in all different directions. That's the thing. I think when I raid at only one spot. If you watch the top players, they'll have like 2 or 3 different raids happening at the same time. Just a couple units, but the ping overload is really hard to deal with. It's a good keep. Oh, you got a lot. You're out of food. This is the classic Dehli issue where there's this issue with Dehli right when you hit castle, where you've evaporated all the food on the map, you've vacuumed it up, and you have to time it perfectly to start kind of like a mini farm transition into castle. This is where I've died a lot as Dehli, where I'm doing fine, all of a sudden I ran out of food, I'm like, shit, I'm trying to get farms up, and they wipe out my army and push in while I'm trying to get my... Ooh, yawn. Sorry. While I'm trying to get my food back up. So one thing you have to do as Dehli is when you hit castle, basically start adding in farms slowly. One, when I'm going up to castle, I try to send, like you're doing right now, I just send way more villagers to food, and then I'm trying to build farms in the back while this is happening so the transition is smoother. Because you literally have no more pocket resources. There's no food. Okay, so you go from here. So raiding, you're being annoying. You got almost all the relics. I mean, basically as long as you just don't throw, or just have your entire army die in some terrible mangonel accident or something like that, you're fine. At this point, you just keep pressing forward with keeps. Take all the sacred sites. Another keep on the other sacred site. Beautiful. Oh Lord. Oh no. Oh, what about their families? Market here would be really helpful. Leave a market. Market, yep. Buy food. Buy food. Mass these gold units. Because I don't think he even has... Does he even have... He has 1 crossbow. If you just mass gold... If you just mass men-at-arms with archers, you win this. Has he technically outmassed you? 74, 64. Yeah, he's outmassed you, but like this is a one-time army. If you beat this army, he doesn't have the eco to replace it. Unless he gets enough keeps up to start producing villagers, but that'll take a while. Oh, he rushes the keep build. Oh, that's painful. Oh, that sucks. You've worked this archer mess down. I love this archer rotation. Now you're just picking villagers. Love it. You know his eco lead's bad. You just want to take out eco repeatedly. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Once you have an eco advantage, just tighten the screws. Because at this point, you can throw away, if your eco is higher, you can kind of throw away units. Because you can produce them more. He can't. He has to be careful of his units because he'll struggle to produce more of them. While you, look at your income per minutes right there. While you can just walk in and keep killing his villagers. And it really, really hurts him. I think this is his last ditch attempt here. For everything! For Gondor! Oh, the mangonels. Yep. You've been really good about getting just a knight into his wood line or onto his gold repeatedly every time a fight happens. That's so draining as an opponent when every time you're doing something, a knight just appears in your base. Very nice. So I think the biggest things to get from here, one, mirror matchups. It's all about the first engagement, who makes kind of the first mistake, and then holding that advantage once you have it. I think you did a great job of, once you got the advantage, you pushed it. I think the thing to be careful of is not to throw away your advantage when you have it. So like when you win that first fight, you're going to have more units. Make sure you maintain that unit mass. Don't, like, you should raid, but don't raid with a lot of units. Raid with a few to distract them. Use that advantage to get an even bigger advantage, such as rushing castle. But I think the things you did amazing. The constant raids were great. used Dehli's advantages really well, and overall you maintained your advantage, pushed it until your opponent couldn't stay anymore. Nice job.